next speaker is Suma Rao. She's a serial entrepreneur and strategic leader with a successful background and leading top performing team focused on exceeding goals. She enjoys being part of as well as managing, motivating, and training successful team and thrives in highly pressurized and challenging working environments. Her current venture is Leadership Studio Private Limited, an education company which is focused on leadership, management, development through emotional intelligence techniques using Indian scriptures. Wow, that's really amazing. She's a fellow founder Institute Silicon Valley Accelerator Program, a certified train the trainer program, and holds a certificate from Cambridge University in teaching and learning. So she has learned a lot, and she believes in network to build your net worth and enthusiast building social commercial networks. She has been very successful in building networks pan India and for close to a decade. Thank you. And I would like to invite Sumaji. Sumaji, are you on?
Yes, thanks, Vijay, and good evening to all. What a wonderful, introduction of mine. I'm sure took a lot of effort to read out. Thank you so much, and thanks for the audience who have been listening to it. You know, uh, Today is the World Transformation Day. We are talking about. So I thought, let me start with the story, and I'm sure that is where the business is. We are talking about business. How can the business be transformed? And how it can, I mean, why it should be transformed is one part of it, and how it should be transformed is another part of it. So here is a small story or an anecdote to help people understand. This is a family of a tailor, and the little boy was had not gone to school, and he was sitting next to his dad, seeing how he sews, how he tailors the clothes. So one day, he sat and he saw his dad. He was having a needle in his hand and he had a cap. Okay, and he was stitching the clothes, and every time he had to cut something, he had a scissor, he would cut, and again he would stitch something. So there was a strange thing which was happening there. The dad used to put the needle onto his cap, okay, needle with the thread, but the scissor under his legs, tightly held. So this boy is puzzled. So at the end of the day, he queries the dad, why did you do that? Scissor and the needle and the thread, all the three are required to, stitch and, form a whatever clothing it is. So dad replied, he laughed, he smiled, and he replied, my dear child, the scissor is one which cuts things, but the needle and the thread are the ones which stitches together, brings it together. And this World Transformation Day, what it is doing is bringing people together. And thanks to all the organizers, starting from uh, Kushal to Kalpesh to Sue to Harinder, and the other committee members who have been putting a lot of effort to stitch this together so that there is so much of meaning to everyone's life, and that is where transformation is. That is what it is. So let's start with that. I went to the last slide here. Okay, sorry. Let me go to the first slide, please. Okay. So why we are talking about World Transformation Day, and my topic here is about leading with 2020 vision. You know, and I put my tagline as connect, complement, and concord. So what does that mean to people? Why is that uh, connect, complement, and concord is very important? And we are talking about World Transformation Day. Without connecting, without complementing, or without being in concurrence, or without being in concordance with people, this transformation from inside or outside to others will never happen. So here is another story to help you understand why it is very important. Then I get into the other nitty-gritties into the slides. This lady, thought today she'll go on shop, and she thought today is the fruit shopping day. And she goes into the market and she sees grapes, okay, beautiful green colored, full bunches and all. And she goes and inquires, hey, what is the amount? What is the rate for this per kg? The vendor says it is 100 rupees per kg. Suddenly, her eyes catch the loose grapes which are there in the corner of this cart. She asks, "How much is this?" The vendor says, "It's 40 rupees." So she says, "Why don't you give me 1 kg of this?" She thought it is less, and why don't I pick it up? And it's less, I don't have to pay 100. So she picks it up and she comes home. She washes and she gives it to her, family. That is her husband, her children, her in-laws, her parents, everyone. But the taste is very different, The taste was not as sweet as it would have been had it been in the bunch. So the mother asks, "Why did you get these loose grapes?" So she says, "Mom, it was anyway cheap. I didn't have to pay 100 rupees per kg, and we need so much in our house." But the mother asked, "Did you taste it, dear?" Daughter said, "No, mom, I have not tasted." So she asked the daughter to put something into her mouth. The grapes are not sweet; they are sour. So she says, "Mom, but it's the same grapes, no? What is the difference if it is in the bunch or it is loose?" The mom says, "If it is in the bunch, it is always sweet." So the the World Transformation Day, again, I come back to that, is staying in the bunch. And by staying in the bunch, we are becoming. That's the most important lesson, or the most important thing what we have to take home today. The world transformation is not talking about the world we are going to transform, but our inside world. How are we going to transform? So how do we connect? How do we complement? And how do we conquer? First within ourselves and then outside. It's always an inside out approach. So is the business. So if we have to lead the business, with 2020 vision, we got to have this connect, complement, and concord so etched in our minds, deep in our hearts, so that we are there for that, uh, to take everything. So, what is that? How do we lead the business on a World Transformation Day? Because we make a difference each and every day along the way. That's how the transformation begins, from inside as well as outside. And that's how the business transformation happens, because you're always making a difference to each and every person along the way. Who are the people? Your team members, your customers, or it might be anyone. By how? By impacting. What are you impacting? It's people, performance, and purpose. That's the key takeaway today. You know, we make a difference in everyone's life, or whomever we meet, by impacting. Impacting what? We impact people. We impact people by our behaviors, the way we approach them, the way we help them. We impact people by our performances. We impact people by helping them perform better. And we impact people by helping them connect to their purpose. And that's how businesses grow. That's how the transformation happens in the business or in life or anywhere else. And that's where World Transformation Day is all about. The key ingredient in this, this is the crux of the whole thing, is belief. If the person has to, I'm going back to the previous slide, if the person has to impact someone, if he has to impact the person of his performance and his purpose, he has to have the belief that he can do it. And belief is the crux of everything. It is the building block. Every brick you're using it to construct anything is the belief brick. And that's how you build a huge team which has a vision, because they have bought your belief. They are into your belief. They are with you. And that is where I call it building a team of giant killers, because the giants are the ones disbelief, non-performances, and non-productivity, all those things in the business. So how do we kill that? Only with the right belief. That stems with the person who is leading. If he puts in that kind of a belief that, hey, look, this is what you can do, this is where you can impact people, that's where the belief of the person improves, or the team improves, and that's where the quality improves. And that's where one can lead with 2020 vision. Yeah, when 2020 comes, we all have our challenges. We all had our challenges in the previous year. But you know what? 2020 vision, or 2020 year, has made us reflect on what we were and what we are and what we can be in the years to come for ourselves first and for the others who are with us, the family, the friends, the companies, the stakeholders, the customers, anything for that matter. So 2020 vision is that. So belief stems that. It's the root of everything. So, but how does belief come? In dictionary, it is always believement comes before the achievement. No, believement it comes uh, before achievement. It's only in dictionary. But once you trust, you have to learn to trust the journey when you do not understand it. That's when the belief comes. You've got to believe someone. You don't know what is going to happen, but believe that. That is when your journey will be much better. Okay. And what is belief? Now we have spoken so much about belief and all in the business. Otherwise, every field. It's an inspiration to commit to one's time, talent, treasure to a specific mission, direction, to a person, or a combination of all these things is belief. Once you commit your time, the most precious thing in today's world is committing to time, sharing. It's not about money. That's why I put treasure at the end. If you can give a piece of your time, piece of your living to someone, you've committed to someone, you're impacting that person. By doing that, you're impacting his talent, you're improvising his talent. That's when the treasure comes, you know. So, and you're committed to the vision. There is a action because of that. And people don't believe or people don't make commitments without any belief. If someone has to, you know, do something, if whatever I'm telling, they got to believe in me. Okay, Suma can do this work for me. They don't know how I'm going to do, but they have to believe that, and then only it happens. So, in the interest of time, I'm going to cut short to many things. So, how does this business transformation happen? I'm linking everything to transformation, right? It's all about how do you perform, reform, and transform. And it's a circle, if you see, you can transform and then reform and perform, or you can perform, transform, and reform. I mean, either way it does. It's a circle. It is held together. And that's when the transformation happens in the business or in life or in wealth or in spirituality or in health or anything for that matter. So that is where the transformation comes. So what does this lead to? It leads to great moments because there are great opportunities. One has committed to transform or one has committed to reform and perform, and therefore transformation is there. And then from there comes great moments. And businesses do work like this: transform, perform, reform. Transform, reform, perform. That's how the businesses work. So the person who marches to his inner beats, to his inner beats, is the one who is going to transform everything. So, with this, I come to the end of my talk, and you can connect with me on these, keeping the interest of time. And we were running short of time. I've cut it down so much. And one thing we got to believe when it comes to business or anything, we are all individualized corporates. We are all individualized corporates. It's not Infosys or Wipro, but we ourselves as individuals are individualized corporates who can impact on people, performance, and purpose. And that's when the transformation happens in any area of life, business or anything. The transformation comes only if we believe this. That's where the individualized corporates comes into picture. And thank you so much for being my patient audience and listening to me. And thanks Anita and Vijay for the wonderful introduction. And thanks Kushal and the team for bringing this together. What a transformation, each one of us. And can you imagine the impact which it is going to create in the world? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Suma. You were wonderful over there and giving out so much of insight and enlightenment about this, the entrepreneurship for the business sector. Thank you so much. So it is now time to bring upon our next speaker.